PEMF is a pulsed electromagnetic field. It's a pulsed energy, something that we have to start integrating into our everyday life.
I know JOLT is very unique and I absolutely love what you've created.
It's up to us to make sure we educate and then provide an option that works.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Root to Rise. My name is Dr. Emily Splichal, your host. And today's episode, we are going to be exploring the power of PEMF and how this plays a critical role in your health, wellness, and longevity. And we have the perfect guest to be speaking about PEMF. Now, before I bring her on, I want to share a little bit about her background. So today I am joined by Danielle Kalmbach, who is a wellness entrepreneur and the founder of JOLT PEMF Lab here in Arizona. This is a cutting-edge recovery and performance studio that is specializing in pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, PEMF. Danielle's work sits at the intersection of nervous system regulation, recovery science, and modern performance culture. Through JOLT, she is redefining how PEMF is delivered, not as a passive modality, but as a powerful tool for energy, resilience, and whole body regulation. In this episode, we will explore how PEMF influences the nervous system, circulation, inflammation, and cellular energy, and why this technology is becoming the cornerstone of recovery, stress management, and high-performance lifestyles. Danielle, thank you so much for being part of the show, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. Well, I am very intrigued of what led you to PEMF and to actually found a studio or a wellness center 100% focused on this modality.
Yes. So I had my own healing journey that helped with the origin of JOLT.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was in a bad rollover accident, and for many years had been through all of the challenges of trying to avoid the narcotics, the injections, the surgery, and trying to find a more holistic approach to actually help my body regenerate.
Okay.
So I had tried acupuncture and needling and physical therapy and all the traditional methods, and really didn't have that regeneration success. So I have a background in science and a background in holistic health, and started exploring more on PEMF.
Okay.
And as I started working more with PEMF, I found not only was my back feeling better, my body was feeling better. I was getting more sleep. My nervous system felt regulated. My quality of sleep tremendously changed. But my back continued to heal over time. And at the point that I found PEMF, I was really in a pretty bad position with pain in my back. It was starting to affect my life. I'm very active. You know, I want to stay active. And so I started exploring more the options of PEMF and what we have available to us, specifically here in Arizona. And as I started looking, I started realizing really we didn't have anything that was focusing the proper frequencies and intensities with a delivery method that was going to be effective for true regeneration. So I did find wellness centers that were offering PEMF as an adjunct, but with lower intensity mats or more of a self-service model. And after I had really healed, I was just very passionate about getting this into the community and finding a way to see people heal and get their lives back, and also create a space where we could let the nervous system rest so the body can heal. So JOLT was really centered around bringing the nervous system down.
Okay.
We have aromatherapy, we have meditation music. It's very spa-like environment. It's very customized. So those clients are getting a nervous system reset in addition to working on the specific area of concern.
I absolutely love that. And for listeners who may not be familiar with PEMF, my first thought when I saw this, and I'm sure other people think this as well, is the EMFs from our phone. And well, wait, I thought that's not good. Wait, what is this PEMF? So how would you, and I'm sure you are very good at describing PEMF to the layperson because that's most likely who's coming into your center. How do you describe it and the benefit of it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to address the first part of that with the EMF first, and then tie that into what PEMF is. And we are surrounded in a world filled with toxicity, pollutants, chemicals, a lot of stress, a lot of things that are creating drain on our cellular batteries.
Okay.
So the difference between the EMF that we're getting from our Wi-Fi, 5G towers, our cell phones, our AirPods, everything that's connected to us 24/7 anymore. Those frequencies, those EMFs have very long wavelengths to them.
Okay.
And that difference in wavelength is what's making that a harmful or damaging frequency.
Okay.
So PEMF is a pulsed electromagnetic field. It's a pulsed energy, very, very short wavelength that penetrates through the entire body into the cells at a mitochondrial level.
Okay.
So as our cells get depleted through all of those things we just talked about, or injury, sports performance, surgeries, or the stress, the pollutants, the food, all of those things that are draining our natural electromagnetic field in our cells, those cells start to deplete in voltage. Therefore, when the PEMF frequency at an intense enough level is applied to the body, it's actually your body doing the work from the inside out. Your damaged or weakened cells will actually respond to the appropriate energy.
Okay.
So it's almost like grounding on steroids. We've been very familiar with grounding for a very long time and the benefits of our Earth's magnetic field.
Yep.
Right? We're not getting enough of that anymore. And there's also a lot of factors that are making that not as effective as it used to be. But many years ago, NASA found that when our astronauts would leave Earth and leave our magnetic field, they were coming back with bone loss, muscle loss, and depression and cognitive issues because that magnetic field is essential for human life.
I love that. So essential to stay connected to our electromagnetic field. And this is on a cellular level, but very specifically a mitochondrial level.
Mitochondrial level. And the weakened and damaged cells are what will respond. So we start getting proper cell communication through the body, ion exchange, ATP levels, we're decreasing cortisol levels, telomere length increases. So it is happening specifically on a mitochondrial level. And the really neat thing about PEMF is we all have systems that are out of balance, and we have cells that are damaged and weakened that we're not aware of yet because the symptoms have not presented. So part of that JOLT philosophy is bringing proactive wellness, not reactive wellness. So we are bringing that proactiveness long before you ever know that you even have an issue.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way that modern medicine has to shift is we have to be proactive in our health and well-being. If you're reactive, in my opinion as a clinician, it's too late. It's harder to catch up when you're past it.
Absolutely.
I love that. So I know there's different ways that you can experience PEMF. There's the PEMF mats that you alluded to, right? What is the difference of these lower quality, higher quality, or is it different frequencies? Is it the delivery mechanism? Can you share about that?
All of the above.
Okay.
So there's definitely a difference in intensity level. So with law of physics, we need a strong enough pulsation, a strong enough waveform to penetrate the depth of the body and the organs to get into the mitochondrial level.
Okay.
So the intensity is extremely important, as is the delivery. So in our office at JOLT, we're in throughout 60-minute sessions and applying specific pads, accessories, placement, and frequencies to deliver energy in certain areas so that we are getting the full body. We are getting organ support for more circulation, better detoxification, absorption, but we're also bringing specific accessories to get directly into the shoulder or the pathways of the shoulder. If we're dealing with something like neuropathy, we're going to be working down the limbs, not just at the point of the symptom, but really working at addressing the root cause of the dysfunction in the body. So the delivery is really important. The intensity is really important. And then the consistency and the time. So this is what we specialize in. So we're seeing our clients on a regular basis, just like we would a physical therapy program. This is more of an internal physical therapy program. But it's also for prevention and longevity. This is something that we have to start integrating into our everyday life to keep ourselves functioning at optimal level. We have too much going on in our surroundings to not be implementing something that is working at a deeper mitochondrial level.
Okay, so I know the units that you have because I've been to JOLT, amazing experience, and for sure the energy when you walk in, it just shifts. So beautiful, beautiful design of your studio.
Thank you.
What does it feel like knowing that we're going to do this high quality experience with a strong enough intensity? What would that feel like for the listeners if they're, again, intrigued? I know the device makes a sound. So if you could just share what would it feel like in the moment? And then, of course, there's a carryover of that effect.
Absolutely. So the office is set up to help with the nervous system reset. So when you walk in the door, there's essential oils, there's smells, there's calm music, it's dim lighting, it's beautiful. We take the client back and we go through the process, answer any questions, make sure they're comfortable with the technology before we start, explain how it works. Once we get onto the full beds, so we have full, thick body beds and chairs. Once we get them on and we start to integrate the energy into the body, they will start to feel movement and contraction in the tissue. So our machines are higher intensity. You will start to feel movement and energy moving gently through the body. Where we have more inflammation and damage, we're going to notice more of a pulsating, tapping sensation. So it is not electrical. It is not zappy. It actually feels really wonderful. And it feels almost like a very targeted massage exactly in the area that you've been hurting or you have pain that nobody can get to because it is so deep in the body. But it will pick up and highlight that area and you feel just a pulsating sensation, but it feels like a deep targeted massage in those areas.
Got it. I know when I went, I have a torn right hip labrum, and it knew exactly where to go, like probably into like the joint capsule. It was so deep that
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
It's magnetic field. And if we think about how we're utilizing magnetic field in our traditional forms of medicine, like
Mm-hmm.
MRIs, that is
Mm-hmm.
magnetic resonance. It is picking up on our electromagnetic field and discrepancies in our cells, right? So it's making it very effective, but we're using a very short wavelength, unlike the MRI, which is bringing some of that negative EMF that we talked about previously.
Yep. Yep.
And then afterwards, many people say, first night, amazing sleep. The sleep starts to shift.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes it's the mood. You just feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more balanced, a little bit more calm.
Okay.
And there's different frequencies that do different things. So
Okay.
we might not want calming. We actually might need to bring more energy into the body,
Mm-hmm.
right? So certain frequencies will bring more energy into the body or calm the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so that outcome for everybody is very different. But in general, less inflammation, the body feels lighter, the aches and pains start to feel less and less and less,
Okay.
and starting to notice better range of motion, but your whole body starts feeling better, not just the shoulder.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. So let's say if it was, let's say a right hip labrum. We'll just use that as the example. What
Yeah.
would be the frequency, or what would be the treatment protocol that you would recommend for that as an example? Is it once a week, twice a week, every other week? How would you?
So everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
My questions would be, how recent is the
Mm-hmm.
injury? Who's the client I'm working on? What
Mm-hmm.
are the activities outside of here that we're
Okay.
doing? Right? So, how well you're taking care of yourself, how hydrated you are, how your
Okay.
nutrition is, what kind of movement you have, all is going to help the process. If you're somebody who's playing pickleball 7 days a week or golf 7 days a week, and we have a shoulder issue, it might take a little bit longer because
Mm-hmm.
we're continually rebuilding inflammation in that area. So I might recommend a little bit more for that client so that we
Okay.
don't continue to build new inflammation. We move that out and we're in healing and regeneration. I would say most conditions on average, we recommend 2 to 3 times a week
Oh,
for the
wow.
for the first month.
Wow. Okay. That's way more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's very
Interesting.
much like physical therapy, but we're
Yeah.
working at such a deep level of healing.
Okay.
So it is a cumulative therapy that builds on the previous sessions.
Okay.
So if we don't have the consistency in the beginning, we're really working on symptomatic relief, which we can do. And if we have somebody who um, tweaks their ankle or their back or their shoulder in the gym and they come in right away, we typically can get that gone very, very quickly, right?
Okay.
Post-operative stuff,
Okay.
on average, we're healing about 50% faster. So if we're getting to something very quick, or I have a young high school athlete
Yep.
who is young and healthy, that's going to move much, much faster. If we're working on
Mm-hmm.
somebody who has been experiencing neuropathy for 40 years or has had chronic back pain or autoimmune disorders and system dysregulation,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to need a minimum of 2 times a week for that first month to get into the actual regeneration of the cells.
Okay.
Once we do that initial work, it's kind of like exercise. Again, it's cumulative build.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get to do that foundation of health, then we can get into maintenance and then we
Okay.
can scale back. And now our symptoms are going away and the benefits and the healing is lasting versus being more symptomatic.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Are there any conditions that you see PEMF works really well for? Where, just as an example, in my practice, I do a lot of lasers and light therapy, photobiomodulation, and it works
Yeah.
really, really good on nerve tissue. So, like a neuroma or something like that. Are
Yeah.
there certain conditions, presentations that you find through your experience that PEMF is just really dialed in for?
Nervous system for sure.
Okay.
pretty easy one is
Yeah.
nervous system regulation.
Okay.
I would say the most successes, back pain, sciatica, those are
Okay.
very, very common.
Okay.
Uh, Nerve regeneration, especially if we're getting to something a little bit on the earlier side,
Okay.
super, super effective.
Okay. Is that
Mhm.
where the post-op comes in? Is because you're kind of disrupting the nerves, you're cutting through skin and fascia
Yes,
and things like
yes.
that?
And oftentimes that patient is being told to wait a year for those nerves to heal and regenerate.
Yeah, I remember
And
telling patients.
and there is a lot that we can be doing proactively to ensure we're giving the body what it needs to heal so
Okay.
that we're not waiting for a year hoping that we get into regeneration and keeping our fingers crossed that the body's doing what it needs to, because most likely your body is depleted and so are your systems that are needing to support that healing process.
Yeah.
So if we can get to that much sooner after procedure,
Yeah.
much more effective. There's no reason to wait for a year. We have tools that
Yeah.
can expedite this process and really help ensure a better outcome.
Yeah. How important is so this initial ramp up period, let's say, where they're doing it 2 to 3 times a week. So let's say someone is saying, okay, I don't have the time, budget, just the reality, which I get
Yep,
with many of my patients. I'm like, I get the reality. This is my
right.
recommendation. If they say, I can only do it once a week, every other week, let's say, is there a point, and I hope I'm asking this the right way, is there a point where it's so infrequent that it's not a waste of the effort, but I just really want to make sure that the listeners understand that there is a critical evidence-based justification for that ramp up period. And
Yes.
it's the investment in that time and essentially prioritizing that to get the true benefit versus if you do it once a week, every other week, you're kind of just not wasting your money, but you know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely. I think it depends on what the overall goals are of the
Okay.
client. So if we never get into that ramp up period. And from the very beginning, we have a financial constraint or a time constraint. And we do see clients from all over the valley. We have people that come here from Tucson, Payson, Sun
Yeah.
City. They're traveling and they're
Yeah.
having to invest the time. And I know it is it's a big ask.
Yeah.
I feel it is my job to really help people understand how it works because the benefits are so worth the time invested.
Yeah.
If I have somebody who really has a lot of chronic issues and they really can't get financially, I would start with recommending that we get 2 30-minute sessions in instead of 2 60-minute sessions. I
Okay.
actually would take a shorter session more frequently than a longer session
Okay.
more spread out because I need to keep getting more energy into the cells. If there's no cellular energy, that means there's no healing, right? PMF is restoring the foundation of the body. So if we can't get into that 30 minutes, or if it's a time constraint, it's like going for a walk. If you get a walk in once every 2 weeks, it's beneficial for your body. You're not wasting your time. You're just doing good for your body, right? But if we're going for a walk with consistency, or we're going to the gym, or we're eating healthy, those things start to build up. So it
Okay.
depends on the goals of the client. If I have a client who just says, I am hurting and today I just need to feel better, we can do that. And that is not a waste of time,
Okay.
right? They are going to feel better. And if that's what we're needing is just to feel better today, or maybe I need a few sessions before I go travel, or I'm going to go see my grandkids, or I'm going to go to Europe and I'm hoping to hike around and I just need some relief to get me through that. That's not a waste of time. We're not going to be into regeneration, which is the true joy of this modality. And one
Okay.
of the things that truly makes this systemically different from anything else out there but definitely not a waste of time because it depends on the goal of the client. And it's up to us to make sure we meet that, educate, and then
Mm-hmm.
provide an option that works.
Perfect. You answered that perfectly. of,
Thank you.
of how I was trying to extrapolate it. So thank you for answering the question.
Yes.
Okay, so do you like to stack PEMF with any other modalities, whether it is red light or anything else?
Yes, I do. I work under the philosophy of the human protocol, superhuman protocol, the fundamentals for life. So everybody that comes into Jolt receives PEMF magnetism.
Okay.
It's essential.
Yep.
Without voltage, without charge, we are not going to heal.
Yeah.
Scientifically, it's just not possible, right?
Yeah.
So we have to get the charge back up in the cells.
Okay.
At the same time of the PEMF, we stack. So everything that we do is done at the very same time. There's no extra time involved. It
Okay.
also amplifies the results. The PMF is opening up the cell pathways. It's making everything else we do more absorbable and more effective.
Okay.
So during a typical session here at Jolt, we have PEMF going through the whole body and then isolated areas of target. We have compression therapy going on the calves to increase circulation even more so. We have red light therapy going as well. And then on certain clients, depending on what it is we're working on, we stack inhaled molecular hydrogen and oxygen.
Love that. What is the
Yeah.
benefit of that to the individual?
Well, hydrogen is the smallest molecule, so it passes blood-brain barrier. It's great for oxidative stress, inflammation, also targets those weakened areas, immediately goes through the entire circulatory system, all systems, better sleep, less inflammation, more energy, great for brain fog, tremendous for inflammation.
Sold. I make an
Yeah,
appointment at Jolt. I
yes.
love that.
And it's all done at the same time. And I think that
Yeah.
that's really important. We are all busy,
Yeah.
right? And it's hard to get these things in. And I really try to bring our technology in with purpose in how it scientifically is working with the body, not just because it's a fad or it's gadgety or it's cool. There's really a scientific reason for the technology that I bring into the office and how it's administered.
Okay.
And I do find that often we just like the fun things. And, we're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and there's no rhyme or reason into how it's actually working scientifically with the body. And oftentimes we're not getting enough of it or we're getting too much of it. So I try to really dial that in. So the 60 minutes spent here is very purposeful, it's effective, it's intentional.
Yeah, I love that. What successes have you seen for foot specific presentations, such as, let's say, like a plantar fasciitis? Have you found success? Do people come in for that? Do you put the device directly on the foot?
Yes, we use red light therapy and PMF directly on the foot, and we get tremendous success with plantar fasciitis and neuropathy both.
Oh, with neuropathy as well. Oh, that's wonderful. Can you share a
We
little
work,
bit more about that? Like, is
I
it
would say
diabetic or?
some of it's diabetic, some of it's
Okay.
post radiation or post
Okay.
treatment.
Okay.
I would say a lot of clients too, it's undiagnosed, right? Oftentimes there's just numbness in the feet or in the hands, and so it's neuropathy. It's, I think it gets kind of classified into this group because there is some neurological dysfunction happening, but oftentimes neuropathy it's electrical. It's not just structural, right? So the PMF is very effective with that. We also work the supporting pathways. So we might be working into the calf. We might be working directly into the foot or into the plantar fasciitis, and we might be working into the low back or the neck. So we're not targeting just one specific area. We're targeting the structural area that needs to be supported in the pathway as well. But I would say neuropathy we see more than plantar fasciitis,
Okay.
but we get both very good success.
Yeah.
I just think I'm seeing more and more neuropathy.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm very excited to hear the benefit of PEMF for neuropathy because there's many different contributors to
yes,
neuropathies in the feet, and it's very, from a quality of life, the effect it has on someone's emotional state is,
huge.
for people who have not experienced it, it's
Yeah,
very hard on these individuals who are living with
it's
it. So
yeah, I
that's
agree.
wonderful.
And I think, the nerves really need proper signaling, right?
Yep.
So the PMF just works at that different electrical level. And again, not just about stimulation, it's about allowing the energy to pass through and the weakened systems responding to it. So there is often, we're not really sure exactly what's going on there. Um, or nerve testing is coming back like this, but I'm feeling like this. Symptoms are here, the testing says this. So, I think that's another huge benefit is that I just need to get the energy where it needs to go. Your body is going to do the work.
Yeah.
Improve the microcirculation in the body, and in the extremities, and help calm the hypersensitive areas as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So it's really a unique modality for things like that, where especially when we're not quite sure exactly where it's coming from.
Yep. No, that absolutely makes sense. So, just a couple more questions as we are
Okay,
kind of heading towards the end. Um,
great.
let's say that I go into JOLTS, I get a session, I do an hour of the PEMF. What do you advise that I do or the listeners do the next day, that evening? How do I get the most out of the PEMF that I just experienced?
Number one easiest thing to do is to stay hydrated before you come in for your session.
Before.
So
Okay.
let's not try to get hydrated the day of the marathon. We are doing a very deep toxin dump of the body. So I I tell people the number one thing that you can do to speed up healing is to make sure you're properly hydrated and that we are properly using minerals
Okay.
as well. So electrolytes to help with the electrical restoration of the cells in the body. We're often very depleted in minerals. We're often dehydrated, even though everybody says we drink a lot of water. The water is often not enough. So simple, very, very simple, staying really hydrated. As we move those toxins out, they flush out through urination.
Okay.
If we're not hydrating enough or we're not properly getting enough trace minerals into the
Yep.
body, we are going to reabsorb some of what we're trying to flush out.
Okay.
So, number one, just stay really hydrated. It's inexpensive, it's easy, and it's going to help you heal much faster.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you are probably the third guest that emphasized the minerals. So for the listeners, you're now hearing this for the third time from a guest
Good.
as far as minerals,
True.
minerals, minerals. So yes, thank you for reiterating that, Danielle. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay, so how accessible is finding a PEMF bed or studio? I know JOLTS is very unique and I absolutely love what you've created. Are there
Yes.
JOLTS in other states and cities, or how do we find
No.
what you do?
Yeah, there's not. We really are specializing at a level that doesn't exist quite yet.
Okay.
We are opening a second location in February, so we'll
Okay.
be have a second location over in Old Town off Goldwater and Main Street.
Okay.
And I I start with the technology. So I have a lot of clients that travel. I have a lot of clients that have homes in different areas, a lot of clients passing through that have just been referred in, that it's not
Okay.
feasible for them to stay here.
Okay.
So I always start with looking for high intensity machines, and making sure that we start with the foundation of good equipment.
Okay.
So we use all pulse centers machines, which are by far the best on the market. I have clients that purchase them at home. I bring them in, we can take a look, see what they're needing. You know, there's options for home use as well. And I'm
Okay.
always happy to help clients with that. I'm always happy to look at different zip codes and see where are you living, and is there somebody. You're not going to find a jolt, but you will, PMF is growing and it's changing. And if we can start with the foundation of good equipment,
Okay.
then we have the good baseline, and then we can find the great practitioners that are offering it at a smaller scale. It could be sports medicine doctors, it could be chiropractors,
Okay.
wellness centers, and you learn a lot from a phone call too. Just inquiring about PMF. What machines are you using? What are the intensity levels? How are you applying it? How are you administering it? Do I set myself up? That's really
Yeah.
common, and it's really confusing for people who have these type of conditions.
Yeah.
Just try to dial in certain frequencies that it's not going to be as effective.
Yeah.
A lot more to it. So you can
Okay.
learn a lot from a phone call too, but
Okay.
starting with high intensity units, I think is the foundation of what you need to start looking at.
Okay. Great. So JOLT, what you've created with JOLT is only in Arizona. You
It
are,
is.
you are
Right
a
now.
pioneer in the
Yes.
boutique or studio
niche.
focused around high frequency PEMF.
Yes.
I love that. Sounds like you
Yeah.
need to travel the United States and
We're
franchise it
getting
out
there.
there. I
Yeah,
love it. I
we're
love
getting
it. So
there.
yes, please reach out to Danielle if you are interested in that, because I think that it's so powerful. It fits beautifully in a wellness studio experience. So what you've created to me makes sense from the moment you walk in. It's needed. It fits into the health and wellness longevity story. So you are brilliant in what you've created. I really
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Of
I really
course.
appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you share where the listeners can learn about you, your work, PEMF, of course, JOLTS, how they make an appointment?
Yes, we have a great website with a ton of just scientific research, joltpemflab.com. You can find us. We're on all social media platforms as well.
Okay.
And then as far as booking, you can book directly through our website. You can book through the JOLT app or MindBody app. We do offer new clients 3 one-hour sessions for $150. So we offer a great introductory offer for clients
Yeah.
to come in and check us out, learn a little bit more about the technology.
Okay.
Again, we'll have that second location servicing Old Town area in February. We're currently off the 101 in Shea in
Okay.
Scottsdale. So give us a call. We're happy to help get you booked as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. This was a pleasure, and I absolutely
you.
love what you're doing.
Thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Of course.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed. Definitely encourage you to explore the power of PEMF. And if you're in the Arizona area, even just visiting, please definitely do check out JOLTS. I'll see you on another episode.